Okay, hello and welcome everyone to this webinar on the new features in FairConsent, an app and a platform for ethical informed consent collection. In the next half an hour, I will quickly introduce Fairpicture, say a few words on why fair consent matters. I will give you a brief overview of FairConsent's basic features and we'll do a little live demo of the newest features, and then we can have a Q&A session. So for those of you who don't know what is Fairpicture, a few words. Fairpicture is an ecosystem for a fair photo and video production. We do two different things. One is the fair custom content, where we produce photos and videos worldwide together with the local visual creators. And then the reason why we are here today, we do something called FairConsent, which is on the one side an app and a platform to gather and manage consents. We work in over 80 countries with a network of about 160 visual creators. We have quite a bit of experience in that area, with over 350 productions completed and working with over 100 companies and nonprofits worldwide. Now, why does fair consent matter? There is really a momentum, I feel, and this is also where I want to introduce myself. I'm Noah. I have been working with Fairpicture since 4 years. I have a background in human rights, and now I'm taking over the product development of the FairConsent app and platform. Why is that important? In the recent years, given my background as a human rights expert, I have followed a lot of new developments in data protection. There are different compliance measures being taken, for example, the new GDPR, but also different data protection laws in different countries. Besides that, ethical visual storytelling has become a very, let's say, call it a trendy topic. A lot of organizations that we were working with started to work on this topic. And the ethical dimension of this discussion is that it's not only a legal thing, but also an ethical thing, putting people depicted in the center of storytelling, seeing them as people with rights and with people who have the right to control their own stories and images. There is a momentum also when it comes to developing the very practical solutions to this issue. For example, Fairpicture brought to the world the FairConsent expert group, with members from different organizations such as Oxfam, the ICRC, the DEC, the World Food Programme, UNHCR, UNICEF, and many more organizations. And in this expert group, we develop topics around consent on a broader scale. And it really feels like a lot of these organizations are struggling with the same issues. And there is a big need to bring very practical solutions around consent to the world. And this is what we're working on with the FairConsent app and the FairConsent platform. So what is the FairConsent app? This is the tool that we use to actively gather consent. So it's a GDPR compliant mobile app designed to simplify consent collection. It offers the possibility to capture consents in over 30 languages. Now there is an option to customize consent templates for organizations. Consent givers can give their consent in various ways, for example, through a visual consent by an unambiguous gesture. They can also give audio consent, or they can sign a consent. Important, the FairConsent app also works offline. I think this is important for many of the organizations that we work with in contexts where they don't always have internet, so data is not lost in these cases. The Fairpicture platform is the place where organizations can manage all the contents that are created in their organization. So there is a license management function where you can invite different users. You can create different consents, custom consents that live up to your organization's expectations. There is also now API integrations for streamlined workflows in your own data asset management. What is new? A lot has happened in the last weeks with FairConsent. So as I mentioned, there is now an option, a third option to give consent, which is visual consent. This has also grown out of discussions of the FairConsent expert group, where different organizations mentioned that they need kind of, in order to facilitate informed consent processes, they need another way to show consent to the people giving consent, and the visual version of consent proves to be a very helpful tool, also depending on the context that organizations work in. We now have API connections, meaning that there is now a direct link for more and more data asset managements from the platform. So the consents end up on the platform, and from there on, they are sent directly to your data asset management. Also, another function that is now live is the multilingual app navigation. So users can now not only customize their consents in every language they like, but they can also change the whole app to the language that is needed in the specific consent gathering scenario. Another thing that has been added in the last month was custom fields for further customization. So organizations have now more room to customize information on the consent gatherer, for example, which is also relevant in combination with the API connection, because then you can decide how the data will actually end up in the data asset management. Now, I will quickly jump into a product demo. So this is not only me talking about things, but also showing you how it works. So now this is the B2B, the platform, the consent management platform. I want to show you some features of it. So there is now an integrations part where you can integrate different asset managements, but also, for example, Microsoft SharePoint or Google Drive, and connect these systems to the app. This can be done in a simple way, and if you need more custom integrations, then we're also happy to do this. If you click in the consent management on consent terms, there is now a new option to add custom consent terms. And if you click on add a consent term, you see that you have the option to add a text consent. So a PDF containing the consent information. You can also add an audio consent, which is helpful in certain circumstances. And then you have the option to upload up to 15 visual slides in different formats. It can also be a video where you can explain consent to a consent giver. Here you see all the consents that I have already created, and there is an active one that I will show in a second in the app. So how is the platform connected to the app? If you click on users and licenses, you can invite a new user. For example, I will now invite myself. And you can send a message to that person and invite a user. But it doesn't, it already exists. Now I will switch to the person who's invited can just accept the invitation, and the person can then record. So this is the organization it's called Wonderland, and now a photographer or a videographer working for you can start recording a consent for your organization. They would, for example, give a project title, be it Water Basel, for example. They can select a country. We'll just select a random one. A product location would be Basel. Here you see that the consent collector data is already pre-filled. You can all do that in your settings, so you don't have to do this every time. Also, the organizational information is saved here. And once this is all set, you can start consent recording. I will now do a consent for a regular person. Let's let's call that person Julian Vogel. You can give, or you can state the age, 34 years old, male. You can add an email address, for example, or any other contact data. You can also now add notes to a certain person. This is also helpful for storytelling purposes. And you can start consent recording. Now you see that you have 3 different options to show that consent, for example, through text, through audio, and through visual. For now, I will choose the text version. So there you see the text that I previously uploaded. So this would be the consent text that I would now show to Julian and explain to Julian and discuss. And as soon as we both agree on these terms, I click on confirm. And now you see that I have 3 different options. Julian has 3 different options to give his consent with a picture, with an unambiguous gesture, with audio. So he could say that he agrees with the consent, or with a signature. This is the option that I choose for now. So Julian signs. Now there is a new function that you can take a photo for better verification. So say just in order to help you match consents and the actual image, you can now also take a picture of that person. So this, for example, would be Julian. I take a picture of him, and this is saved together with his consent. For now, this is everything I wanted from Julian. So I click on Got Everything Recorded. Now there is another case. I want the consent of a child, and in order to get it, I will first ask its mother to give consent to use that child's image. So I would, for example, add Alice Reinhardt, state her age, state her gender, and here I can, for example, add a phone number and start consent recording. Now I will show you the third path through visuals, so I can explain the consent through visuals. I will click on it, and here you see what I prepared. I uploaded different dummy images to this consent, so this can also be with subtitles. You have many options to edit this. These are the 3 images that I uploaded just to discuss the consent. And I show it to Alice and let her confirm this time, for example, with an image, with a picture. And I save that. And now at this stage, I add a child or a word. And that would be, for example, Laura Reinhardt, who's 6 years old. The relationship to the legal guardian to Alice would be daughter. And I can also let Alice Reinhardt, I will find the right image for it. This is Laura. I will take a picture of her also. Then I click again, because I have now the consent of Alice and Laura. I click on Got Everything Recorded. If you click on Recorded Consents, you see all these consents gathered in one place. And if you're finished with consent gathering, you can just upload the consents. And I will show you now where these end up. So I will move back to the platform. And now you see already here, that's the project that I just created, Water Basel. If you click on it, you see all the consents that have been gathered. For example, Alice Reinhardt, you see all the consent data that has been added to this consent. You see the child, you see Laura here, and you see all the relevant consent attachments here. So you see, you will see in the PDF a photo, both of the photos and the signature. Now I can show you how this looks like for Julian, for example. I can download this consent, and I will just quickly open it up. Now you see that this is the photo I took of Julian. This is his signature. There's all his personal data included, and the consent form that he accepted or signed is also attached to this PDF. So this is a quick run through, kind of showing the newest features of Fairpicture, but now I also want to give a quick outlook on what's coming next. So in Q1, we already implemented all the changes that I showed you now. What's coming next is the big topic of withdrawal of consents, and it is also a topic that is discussed in the FairConsent expert group. So this also includes kind of a confirmation message to the consent giver, establishing a very important connection for the withdrawal process, but also offering a lot of opportunities in storytelling. So this will offer a path in the future where people using images have a direct link to the people in the images. And there are many discussions on how we can leverage this for new functions of FairConsent. Another thing that will come up is branding options for organizations. So you can really make the app your own FairConsent for your organization. Now, how to get started? It's actually very easy and without many hurdles. You can just go to app.fairpicture.org, create an account, and start a 14-day free trial for your team. In the trial, you can have as many licenses as you want, and you can invite all your team to test it. And we are also very curious about your feedback. So if you test it, please let us know. And if you want to talk to me directly, you can also do so. You can also directly book a call with me, and I'm very happy to chat. And now I would like to open the floor for questions. You can either type your questions in the chat, or if you want to, you can also directly speak up, should there be any questions.
No, I have a question to do with the connection, the Apply connection to Resource Space. Resource Space is the dam that we use. We also use Fairpicture for content collection. So how complete is that, the work done between making a connection between Resource Space and FairConsent?
Good question. Resource Space is the first dam that we worked with because it's also the version that Oxfam works with. And the first version is already integrated and can be tested by now.
Great. Okay. We'll be in touch.
Yeah. Any other questions at this point?
Yes, Noah, in the chat. The pricing options.
Okay. Sorry, I don't see the chat. Okay, so we...
Yes, from Claudia, it's she puts the question, can I find pricing options on the website?
Yes, you can. If you go, or better, if you go to the platform, if you sign up to the platform, so app.fairpicture.com, you will find all the pricing informations, and we will put it, or we should put it on the website also, but the way to find it right now is on app.fairpicture.com.
And then there is another question from Mutunga. Hi, Mutunga. He's a photographer of Fairpicture, and he asked, I got a year free subscription. Does it end here or then?
Yes, that's a good question. And since you are working with Fairpicture, we will just extend your subscription anyway. Glad that you use it. If you want to give feedback anytime, I'm very happy to hear it.
You're welcome, Mutunga. And Claudia.
I have another question. Are you going to share the recording of today?
Yes.
Perfect. So I can share it with my colleagues.
Yes.
Thank you so much for the initiative. I'm amazed. We always were handling papers, so there's another option now. Thank you.
Yes. Yes, if this is one, I think we can get rid of a lot of paper worldwide.
And
this is also part of our mission.
Yeah, and then of
It makes
trying
things easier.
to put names and images together again afterwards. This has been a challenge in the past. So thank you for that as well.
Thank you. Any other questions or inputs?
No, I do. I'm going to go in again for another question, and that is to do with the connection between adult consent and children. So that could be an adult parent. It also could be a school administrator, I would assume. And
Exactly.
what is the link? So presumably there's a many-to-one connection between the children's consents and the adult consent. And how is that represented in the interface? In other words, is it easy to see whether there are child consents linked to an adult?
You can just a good question. So the logic of it is it can be an adult and a child, but it can also be like a legal guardian and a ward, for example, or a teacher who gives consent for many students. So it can also have like more, say, children attached to one adult consent giver, and this is then on the platform very easily. You can just browse for the different names, and if you open, for example, the consent of the consent giver of the adult person, for example, you have all the consents or all the children listed within that consent. And also it depends, depending also on the API connection, if you upload these consents to resource space, for example, then you have also your own options how to cluster these, for example, or how to tag them and so on. Okay. Great. If there are no more questions, I will just thank you for coming by, and I hope to hear from you, to hear your feedback once you started using, or some of you I know are already using the platform and the app, so very grateful for that. And as I said, don't hesitate to reach out. We are very curious, especially at this stage, to get as much feedback on different features as possible. Okay, thank you. Have a beautiful evening and see you soon.
Bye.
Bye.